Good evening. Thanks for joining us on Mitv Primetime News. I am Jumoke Michaels. In the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu has returned to Abuja for a process heads of state and government meeting in Rome, Italy. The meeting, co-chaired by Jordan's King Abdullah II and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, focused on strengthening regional and global cooperation against terrorism and violent extremism, particularly in West Africa. Held behind closed doors at the National Gallery of Modern and Contemporary Art, the high-level gathering was attended by leaders from Nigeria, Chad, Paraguay, Sierra Leone, Togo, and several other nations. On the sidelines, President Tinubu held bilateral discussions with Prime Minister Meloni, U.S. Presidential Advisor Masad Boulos, and the Vatican Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Paroli, on issues including religious harmony and misinformation about Nigeria's religious tolerance. Launched in 2015, the Akaba process seeks to enhance prevention effectiveness in counter-terrorism efforts worldwide.
The United States and Nigeria is our major terrorism. What's happening today in the Sahel region and in the not just people in the sub-region, but to the entire world, to Europe and the United States and the entire world. And we're working towards combating it, and we will be cooperating security in the Gulf of Guinea, which is also a very important aspect of our cooperation. Continue to work on.
You talked about cooperation on the security.
For all Nigerian children, particularly girls with disabilities. This formed the highlight of the 2025 International Day of the Girl Child, organized by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, in Abuja, with the theme, Lead a Change, Need to Dismantle Communication Barriers and Promote the Learning for Fostering Inclusion and Ensuring Equal Participation of all learners, regardless of ability. Executive Secretary of UBEC, Dr. Aisha Garba, said the Commission is implementing policies to institutionalize sign language education nationwide and enhance accessibility for learners with disabilities. She added that UBEC is also investing in teacher training, child protection, and health screening initiatives to strengthen inclusive education across Nigeria.
It's also a personal call to action for each of us. It challenges us to take one simple but powerful step towards inclusion, to learn to communicate in a way that bridges silence with understanding. When we learn sign language, we open doors of friendship, opportunity, and belonging for millions of Nigerians who communicate with their hands, their hearts, and their courage. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, empowering girls with disability is not charity. It is justice. Every girl, whether she speaks or signs, whether she hears or listens through touch, has dreams worth nurturing. And
today, we take that commitment a step further, championing the learning of sign language in our basic education. This does not in any way downplay the challenges faced, but to bring it to the top of our priorities. I would like to remind you that there is a policy already in place by the Federal Ministry of Education under the leadership of Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, and Professor Suwaiba Ahmed. The inclusive policy guides
continues to advocate against harmful practices such as child marriage, female genital mutilation, and gender-based violence, while also supporting second chance and re-entry education for girls who have dropped out of school due to pregnancy or hardship. Beyond protection, we are intentional about empowerment. We believe that when girls are educated, confident, and included, they grow into women who transform nations. This is why the ministry continues to strengthen partnerships with organizations such as UBEC, the Federal Ministry of Education, and our international to integrate inclusivity, digital learning, and life skills into every girl's education experience.
The Senate has debated a bill seeking to create a legal framework that would allow small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, to access quicker financing by sponsoring the legislation titled Factoring Regulation Bill 2024. Senator Asoko Epeyon said the proposal one of the most persistent challenges facing micro, small, and medium enterprises, delayed payments. He noted that across the country, MSMEs frequently deliver goods or services, but often wait up to 90 days to be paid, a delay that hampers their ability to pay workers, restock materials, or scale up operations. The proposed law would make invoice transfers legally enforceable, aligned with ongoing digital reforms such as e-invoicing and receivables registries, and strengthen verification systems to reduce fraud. After extensive debate, the bill
they provide the bulk of jobs and contribute significantly to national output. Yet most remain excluded from affordable credit because traditional bank lending depends on collateral they often do not have. The result is a structural cash flow trap that limits. Monitoring provides a tested solution. Instead of waiting months for payment, a business can sell its verified invoice to a licensed factor.
This bill will certainly, when passed into law, help in strengthening our economy, because the informal sector and the small and medium-scale enterprises are the dominant entities that we have in our economy, and in fact they are the backbone of our economy. So any move to assist them in this direction will help in strengthening these entities, and so strengthening our economy, bringing more vibrancy to our economy. Very important, because aviation is an important sector of every economy. With aviation sector, we should not handle with levity. If we do that, then we'll be injuring our economy, injuring the lives of our people. Very, very important. And I commend the Senate for the prayer being adopted that a thorough investigation should be made to unravel what is happening within that sector. And I call on the committee. I know it's headed by someone who is very, very diligent and reliable, a consummate legislator, well experienced, who started from the House of Reps to the Senate. I know he's going to do a good job with the members of the good job and submit a report within 4 weeks. Thank you very much.
House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating the management of oil spill cleanup funds in the Niger Delta has assured to ensure transparency, accountability, and justice in the handling of funds earmarked for environmental remediation in the region. Chairman of the committee, Olum Ete, gave the assurance on Thursday at an investigative session in Abuja. He said the investigation is aimed at uncovering the truth behind the utilization of funds allocated for the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project and other related interventions, with a view to ensuring that affected communities receive the relief and restitution they deserve. Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Kumo Bello, reiterated the legislature's determination to ensure that public funds are properly utilized for the benefit of all Nigerians. Correspondent Linda Ike reports that he called for improved coordination between federal agencies and community-based organizations to ensure that the cleanup projects yield profits.
To agencies and operators, including IPRED, OSDRA, the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Finance, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, the Central Bank of Nigeria, NATI, NNPC, and related entities, we demand full cooperation and prompt submission of requested documents to community representatives, civil society organizations, and technical partners. Your evidence and experiences are vital. The committee wishes for those providing session in good faith. Non-compliance will prompt the committee to invoke the House authority. Let me emphasize, this is not a political exercise or a witch hunt. It is a rigorous, evidence-driven inquiry to restore accountability, recover misapplied public funds, address institutional failures.
In the course of this investigative hearing, we don't want to be judgmental. And therefore, for us to be fair and balanced, is to listen to those agencies involved or are concerned with the management of the funds, to hear from them. 3, to take an X-ray of certain parameters as to who are the managers, what is involved in the management of the funds, which communities are supposed to benefit from the funds, whether the funds are judiciously applied, whether there is transparency in the management of the funds, whether there is fraud in the management of the funds, and whether or not there is distributions of the funds.
The House of Representatives has held a valedictory session in honor of the late Speaker of the Third House of Representatives, Agunwa Anekwe, who hailed from Adaziani in Anaucha local government area of Anambra State, served as Speaker between 1992 and 1993 during the Third Republic. He passed away in July 2025 at the age of 69. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas in his tribute assembly as a mark of distinction reserved for leaders whose service left a lasting impact on Nigeria's democratic evolution. Correspondent Linda Ike reports that Abbas also announced plans by the House to immortalize all former presiding officers by naming halls in the National Assembly complex after them. Former contributions to legislative development representing the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, the Senate Whip, Mohammed Mungono, praised Anekwe's courage in confronting military authoritarianism during the 1990s.
Because anytime I've seen him, I'd always seen him with the heart of a lion. How he survived those treacherous years, and how he even managed the House. Because if we remember very well, the politics of those days were the perfect summary of Thomas Hobbes' state of nature. It was war of all against all. Political life then, especially in leadership positions, was not only short, poor, nasty, and brutish, but was full of experimentation. There was no political theory that was not experimented there. And then you wonder how he was able to navigate that if you just see him from the outside.
The late Honorable Agua Onekwe, as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, not only preached the gospel of democracy and enthronement of democracy, but championed that cause and practicalized it by standing firmly against that obnoxious and draconian decree, and led the House to pass a resolution to the effect that that decree is ultra-vires the very principles of democracy and therefore the House can legislate on any matter.
Our deceased Speaker, with your kind permission, I will read a short speech in honor of our former member. Honorable colleagues, today, this House convenes in a moment of institutional reflection to honor the life and service of Right Honorable Agunwa Anekwe, former Speaker of the House of Representatives, whose body lies instead within the atrium of the National Assembly. This is a rare recognition reserved for those whose contributions have left a lasting imprint on our democratic journey. In the traditions of parliaments around the world, this valedictory session is not merely to offer ceremonial words. It offers us the opportunity, both as institution and as individuals, to assess the substance of leadership, the weight of duty, and the legacy left behind. Right Honorable Anekwe exemplified as a standard of parliamentary conduct that combined discipline, fairness, and clarity of purpose.
The armed forces consolidate its dominance across the country's security landscape, recording remarkable successes in ongoing counter-terrorism, counterinsurgency, and anti-criminality operations within the past week. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcos Kange, who disclosed this in the weekly operational briefing, commended the gallantry, discipline, and unrelenting courage and other criminal elements, as well as the recovery of a large catch of arms, ammunition, and contraband items. Among the items recovered were automatic rifles, machine guns, rocket-propelled grenade tubes, locally fabricated firearms, improvised explosive devices, IED materials, and thousands of rounds of live ammunition. In the Northeast, troops of the Joint Task Force Operation Hardin K maintained unrelenting pressure on Boko Haram and Islamic State of West Africa Province ISWAP terrorists in Stroke and Safe Haven, responded to multiple targeted offensives against armed militias and kidnappers across Plateau, Nasarawa, Benue, Kogi states, and the Federal Capital Territory.
Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, during the period under review, sustained operational momentum by denying Boko Haram, ISWAP, and Jazz terrorists. Freedom Forces, in conjunction with air component and hybrid forces, as well as local security groups, conducted operations across the theater. During the period, our troops eliminated several terrorists and arrested their informants and logistics suppliers. They also recovered some weapons and dismantled terrorist networks. Their efforts paved ways for the safe return of displaced persons and unimpeded farming activities. For instance, between 8th to 16th October, troops conducted both kinetic and non-kinetic operations against terrorists in Concord Northwest, Operation Fansayama. Troops of Operation Fansayama sustained operational tempo throughout the week with significant outcomes. During firefights in various areas, some terrorists were killed in action and kidnapped victims were also rescued. For instance, between 8th to 15th October, our troops conducted offensive operations in Tangaza.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, says robust and positive collaborations and partnerships are viable sources of hope to families across Nigeria. She said this at the 12th edition of the Merck Foundation First Ladies Initiative Committee meeting held in Banjul, Gambia. Achievements of the Renewed Hope Initiative said it continues to give hope to families across the nook and crannies of Nigeria. She commended the CEO of Merck Foundation, Senator Rasha Kelej, for the various interventions of the foundation, which include 14 scholarship diploma in fertility and embryology and 2-year master's degree in sexual and reproductive care, women's health and family medicine to Nigerian doctors. The interventions also include 40 scholarships for 1-year diploma and 2-year master's degree in management, 3 scholarships for oncology research, medical oncology, and pain management. The meeting had various First Ladies from African countries, including the host Gambia, Sao Tome, Central African Republic, Burundi, and Senegal, speaking about various interventions as regards women and children's health and education. Merge geographical features into vital corridors of economic opportunity and sustainable transportation. He disclosed this at the official launch of the Lagos State Waterways Authority Omi Eco project. Sanwo-Olu noted that the project represents Lagos' vision to lead the continent in developing a sustainable, connected, and future-oriented system. The governor emphasized that the project would ease traffic congestion, reduce carbon emissions, and open up new economic opportunities across waterfront communities in the state. Former Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, applauded the resilient spirit of Sanwo-Olu and his team. He urged them to complement the projects with connectivity links to the rail and road transport system. Lagos State Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiemi, noted that the initiative aims to significantly cut travel times, ease road congestion, and offer Lagosians a reliable and environmentally friendly commuting alternative. The special advisor to the governor on blue economy, Damilola Emmanuel, emphasized that the Omi Eco project would not only strengthen infrastructure across Lagos waterways, but also advance the state's climate resilience goals and sustainable transport agenda through smart technology and eco-friendly innovation.
The work for intermodal transportation in Lagos, linking the roads to the waterways continues. Confident that it will be done, because I see that it is in very, very good hands, and the baton is passing down slowly to the younger ones who have the clear energy to run the race.
As President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewable agenda reminds us, real progress is made when leadership meets partnership, when bold ideas meet strong institutions. Lagos is proud to be exemplified and to continue to curate the spirit of what the essence of Lagos is. Here today, we're charting a new course. Together, we believe that course will outlive all of us. And like my former governor said, it's a plus. And we're beginning to see that that leadership is transformative.
Third benefit of this project is that it will actually contribute to fighting against climate change. By decarbonizing transport, it will suppress 41,000 tons of CO2 every year, therefore contributing to the reduction of Lagosian but also Nigerian CO2 footprint.
Stakeholders in the agriculture value chain have called for enhanced collaboration and consistent government support to ensure food sufficiency and affordability in Nigeria. Speaking at a symposium in Lagos to commemorate this year's World Food Day, themed Youth in Action, Hand in Hand for a Better Future, the panelists emphasized the urgent need to reduce post-harvest losses through the provision of cold chain storage facilities and the removal of transportation bottlenecks that hinder the movement of farm produce. Team lead, Food Click Support Initiative, meant that the forum was organized in line with renewed commitments to curb hunger across the country. Head, Marketing and Partnerships, Lekki Mills, Tracy Dabul, called for stronger public-private partnerships in the agricultural sector, noting that potential investors require a conducive business environment and reliable government data to reach farmers at the grassroots effectively. She also underscored the importance of cultivating a culture of volunteerism among agricultural enthusiasts. Chefs extends beyond cooking, involving creativity and innovation that can transform the nation's culinary landscape.
We are having a symposium just to ensure that we are able to achieve the Zero Hunger Award. So the symposium today with the theme Youth in Action, hand in hand for a sustainable future. We have professionals from different aspects of life, lawyers, surveyors, those in the food space. Of course, we all know that the basic thing for every human is food. Without food, we don't have a life. But regardless of the profession that we do, we needed to come together to a point to ensure that food from the farm gets to the people at the city, the people in the slum, and all.
In ways to reduce this post-harvest waste experience with foodstuff, support young companies that are into bringing innovative ways to reduce post-harvest waste. Yeah, so support from the government for its financing, better interest rates, and then reduction in levies and dues that help us scale and grow.
There's a lot of technical abilities that we need to incorporate into what we're doing to bet a good dish now. And like I said, during the symposium, we read books that are bigger than Hababio textbooks. We read every blessed day of our life because innovation keeps coming every now and then. And we do a lot of mathematics. These are the areas people don't know because everyone needs to do a profitable business. How are we doing a profitable business? We need to ensure that our food cost is at 32%, 100,000. How much are you expected to generate after you have paid all your utility bill, you have paid the staff that works for you? You as an individual that owns the business, how much should be left in your wallet? So this requires a mathematics, and it requires a formula for all of us to be able to do this. So we also work like an accountant. We're science, because now we are creating things. We are using a lot of illusion to make things. We do a lot of documentation when it comes to ASAP, because ASAP is all about documentation. From the start where we are cooking our food, we put documentation into it, into writing. At what temperature do we defrost food? It is written down. When we're cooking the food, at what boiling degree should it be? So we cooked all of this down for evidence.
Legal practitioners in Nigeria and the rest of Africa need to show more commitment to offer free legal services on public interest law and issues through pro bono. This assertion came to the fore in Lagos at the 2025 conference of the Nigerian Bar Association section on Public Interest and Development Law, SPIDEL, where the need for institutionalized pro bono legal services was highlighted. Our correspondent, Fatoki Kule, compiles details in this report presented from our studio. It was a gathering of legal practitioners under the platform of the Ikeja branch of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, where the issue of public interest goes. The chairman of NBA SPIDEL, Profa, a senior advocate of Nigeria, fired the first salvo, where he said that there is danger in the tinted glasses permit planned enforcement, as announced by the Nigerian police, Kayode Egbetokun, pointing out that there is no need for the public to entertain any fear of the enforcement as court over what is a public interest issue.
That is not to say that tinted permits cannot be regulated. That's not what we're saying. But we're saying that you cannot hide the secretarial police how to extend invitation to us. We held meetings in their offices and we agreed that the tinted permit will be put on hold until a joint committee of Nigerian police and SPIDEL and NBA, which is NBA, looks into it.
With public interest law and associated issues gaining momentum worldwide, legal practitioners in Nigeria and Africa will now have to be more committed to offer free legal services to the poor and the downtrodden in the society through pro bono has been practiced in the United States and some countries where most have established a platform on public interest issues. This is apart from providing required research and data for the pro bono legal representation.
A lot of lawyers across Africa are willing to offer pro bono legal services. But what we are promoting is what we are going to look at, a structuralized way of offering pro bono. Many Africans, will say we already offer pro bono through our family members, our brothers, our sisters. What we are looking at is beginning to work with bar associations across different countries in Africa to develop a structure that will favor the civil society organizations in many countries. We want to think about how do we begin to institutionalize pro bono through partnership with Nigerian Bar Association.
In view of the incidences of victimization of some students in higher institutions and the downtrodden needing justice for such people.
When we talk of pro bono, we are not just talking about people that are in conflict with the law. There are people, students, who have been victimized of university processing their admission, their names got missing. They need free legal services. By providing such services to younger generation, we are building people that will help the nation in the future.
But the challenge is what we want to address, that is the platform by which they can provide those services. There's a lot of human rights abuse cases, there are a lot of people who are in need of these services, and there are a lot of lawyers who are also willing, but where is that platform, where is that vehicle? That's what the MBA tries to do, that's what Spiegel tries to do.
These members of the bar gave assurance that there will be more commitment on the part of lawyers in Nigeria in offering pro bono services on public interest issues to provide justice for those in need.
That Spiegel have already, in some aspect of this, begun to take both steps that we want to bring to your table to also leverage on. In September, just last month, Spiegel was involved in the development of the National Legal Aid Strategy for Nigeria.
Many lawyers provide pro bono services, but again we now want to take it to another level by creating this platform. And for your information, even before this one, this center, where we are in MBA Ikeja, is the point of human rights activism in Nigeria, and pro bono services are provided by so many of us.
With an institutionalized pro bono legal representation gaining momentum, NBA Spidel and other legal practitioners in Ikeja branch assured that offering free legal services for those in urgent need will now be structured in line with the situation in the United States. Watching the Primetime News on MITV. Please stand by as we take a break. We'll return with more stories.
Progress no dey happen just like that. It come from support when you need help.
Mommy, I got the school fees. You too much. Wow.
Bro, na transfer.
Na money point, Oga. Oh, na confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment go land as sure banker. Progress na small wind where they carry person go far.
No worry, you go make am. Come go Bible.
Victor, even you they use money point?
Of course now, they use money point.
Confirm.
Welcome back. The National Convention Organizing Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have expressed satisfaction with preparations in Ibadan ahead of the party's elective National Convention scheduled for November 15 and 16, 2025. Chairman of the committee and Governor of Adamawa State, Amadu Umaru Fintiri, made this known after leading his team on an inspection tour of the key facilities in the city of Ibadan. The inspection covered several sites, including the expanded Ibadan Airport runway, rehabilitated convention routes, the Lekon Salami Sports Complex, Adama Singba, and the accommodation facilities across the city. Fintiri explained that the visit was part of efforts to ensure logistics, security, and welfare plans are in top shape before the recent defections of the governors of Enugu and Bayelsa states from the PDP. Fintiri reaffirmed that the party was not built around individuals, but strong ideals that endures. He described the upcoming convention as a turning point for the PDP, one that will consolidate internal reforms and usher in leadership capable of repositioning the party for national relevance. The committee's delegation included Deputy Chairman Tanimu Turaki-san, National Convention Secretary Senator Ben Obi, among other senior party figures.
PDP were fully ready and prepared for the convention. We're here to have on-the-spot assessment of the venue for the convention in Ibadan. And the stadium is where we're going to use as the convention ground. And I think what I've seen is quite impressive and is excellent. What is remaining is for us to dot the I's and cross the T's. I think we are still very strong. PDP is an institution. It's not about individuals. So individuals leave, the PDP remains, and we're still a very formidable party, fully prepared and ready for 2027.
Meanwhile, a former organizing secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Adede, non-compliance is responsible for the mass defection currently rocking the opposition party. Speaking in an exclusive interview with MITV News in Lagos, Doherty disagreed with some PDP leaders who berated Governor of Enugu Peter Mba for defecting from the PDP to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC and his Bayelsa counterpart Duoye Diri, who resigned from the PDP. He observed that the PDP, which was in control of the Federation, has failed to effectively manage its internal party democracy, party structure nationwide. The PDP chieftain was of the opinion that the former ruling party is facing mass defection due to aggrieved members who were shut out in the running of affairs of the party over non-compliance with party constitution. Nigerians have been urged to use the 2027 elections to correct leadership problems in the country by voting credible people into power and avoid complaining afterwards. This was said at one of the activities marking this year's Oyo NUJ Week. The speakers at the event, themed Democracy and Search for Quality Leadership in Nigeria, identified the people as the most essential in a democratic setting, but noted that the power has been surrendered to corrupt politicians who, defended by people from various walks of life, including politicians, emphasized that the power to solve the menace lies with the electorates, who must vote their conscience and not compromise. The speakers believe the 2027 elections offer an opportunity for Nigerians to make a change and urged the people to be wise with their vote, that democracy cannot thrive by words alone, and called for strong institutions to nurture Nigeria's evolving democracy. Media professionals were also advised on their critical roles in building strong institutions and remaining the voice of the voiceless.
Are they actually benefiting from democracy to lead, to turn around the economy of the state and Nigeria, to make Nigeria better? People that will come in and encourage other people of like-minded to also come in into politics. And that is why somebody like me is in there to participate.
Of youth, not just myself, we have the capacity. What we need to do is start taking ownership of our community, taking ownership of leadership. And we must not feel like we are inadequate or we are not up to the task, to take up more leadership roles. So if my example or my success as the Conference of Speakers chairman and as the Speaker of Oyo State will inspire others, I beg them and I appeal to the youth all over the place, they should have confidence in themselves.
It's the basic needs of the people. Things like security, food, healthcare, housing. Those are basic. You see, when you say the bar of governance has been raised over the years, I don't agree with you that the bar of governance has been raised, because the quality of life of the people has not improved at all. And when you are talking about governance, it's all about the people. So I don't see the bar being raised. I see that.
Health experts have called on women to adopt healthier lifestyles and pay closer attention to their well-being during menopause. They made the call at the Women at Menopause 2025 program held in Ikorodu to mark the World Menopause Day with the theme Lifestyle Medicine. The event, which featured free medical checkups, exercises and health talks, aimed to educate women on managing menopause naturally and confidently. Participants were screened for blood pressure, sugar levels, and other health indicators before attending interactive sessions on physical, mental, and emotional wellness. Speaking at the event, Dr. Bolande Atebero, an obstetrician and gynecologist, represented by Dr. Ilori, explained that menopause usually occurs between ages of menstruating for 1 year. She said symptoms such as hot flushes, mood changes, night sweats, and weight gain can be reduced through balanced nutrition, regular exercise, and stress management. Public health physician Dr. Tolu Arowolo stressed that mental and emotional well-being are just as important as physical health. She encouraged women to build social connections, sleep well, and avoid harmful habits like smoking or excessive drinking. She added that women with severe symptoms such as depression, insomnia, or heavy bleeding should seek medical help instead of self-medicating. The coordinator of the program, Ololade Odole Akiyemi, said the outreach was created to educate and support women going through menopause and to change the stigma surrounding it. She also appealed to government agencies to create more awareness programs and health policies that include menopausal women to help them live healthy lives.
People are not enlightened. The government, I will still go back to the government, whether state, local or federal, to invest more in people's health, because most people are not even enlightened. They don't know that taking ordinary calcium and vitamin D, whether in supplements or foods rich in it, can prevent all these things. So people are ignorant. You find somebody that is tall and fine suddenly becoming not really short, because when this thing really gets bad, it affects the gait. So many things happen to you. But if the government invests more into you, but if the government invests more in enlightening people, like I really give it to people like Mrs. Odole Akinyemi. I told her that I'm going to join this and maybe I'll even start something of my own. And then you will find out that when people have idea that this is the way to prevent it, it encourages them.
You cannot give everything to the government to do alone. Kudos to Mrs. Odole Akinyemi for having a group for premenopausal, that we were able to have the knowledge for premenopausal, that we were able to have the knowledge, and we are imparting other people so that they can be able to have the awareness for people to know that when you are attaining the age of premenopausal, things are things. There's no how you will not have a regular menstruation again. And you know some other illiterate, let me put it, an illiterate people in the village, they will not know the reason why they don't have such things. They will be thinking as if probably something is affecting them. But by the time so that they can have the cautions, so they can have everything to put in place.
Program to people around in the rural area, at least, to have awareness of it. Personally, I've been doing that, and some of my friends to do awareness for people that are in rural area. So what we are looking at now, make it, bigger than that, bigger than an individual, as a team, at least to go there once in a while and do this. We have to be aware of what is going on, because from age 40, you begin to have what is called premenopausal, and before you now get to menopausal itself. So, when they said knowledge is power, when you are equipped and you are aware of something, you know where to go to. Because majority of people don't really know what they are going through this stage. So, but when you are aware and you know what is going on with you, you know where to go to, you know that you need to see your doctor for further investigation. It still bounce back in awareness. Probably, the majority of our women that live in your area speak Yoruba. So we have to come to their level, go there to speak to them in language that they understand. If you are talking about East, let people of East speak the language that they hear. If we talk about the northern level, the language they understand, and we need to break it down to their level.
You feel a rush of, that ginger, that exercise, you could feel it in your body. You felt more excited, more alive, more, more inspired. That is part of the things that physical activity can do for us. And then, of course, it prevents osteoporosis. Now, mental and emotional wellness. We need to practice relaxation. I'm sure we've heard of deep breathing. We've heard of yoga. We pray very well in this part of the world. Prayer is also a part of.
Legal practitioner Barrister Charles Okebuno has called on Nigerians across all religious, political and ethnic divides to strengthen their bond through shared values and a unified national vision, stressing that only genuine unity can preserve as one indivisible nation. Speaking at the investiture ceremony of Lion Abu Samuel Ojo as the new president of the Yaba Lions Club, District 404A3, Nigeria, Okebuno emphasized that sustainable unity among diverse ethnic groups must be rooted in upholding common values and pursuing collective goals. He urged citizens to shun religious intolerance and desist from all forms of political thuggery, describing such actions as threats to peace and progress. In his remarks, Lion Ano Anyanwu, immediate past multiple district governor of Lions Clubs, and told the call for collective responsibility, noting that national transformation begins with individuals and must extend from the family level to the highest leadership positions. The newly inaugurated president, Lion Abdul Samuel Ojo, pledged to embark on impactful community projects aimed at uplifting the vulnerable and bringing relief to the needy, within the society.
We talk about changing national anthem, we talk about putting posters or different things, but we don't talk about why. Because if we talk about why, we will now say religion won't matter, ethnicity won't matter, politics won't matter. This is our Bible. These values are our Bible. And as long as these values are collective values, agreed by all, then the goal will be in sight. Everybody will be facing that goal. And that's done. Like I mentioned, religion is not new. Ethnicity is not new. Politics is not new. So why should it divide us?
Or if we move from up to bottom, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of development and human sustainability. So each and every one of us, from the president down to the head of the family, to the child in the family, and right from the child in the family going all the way up to the president, each and every one of us must change our ways for the goodness of the Nigerian citizen, for the goodness of the Nigerian, for the goodness of the black man, and then for the goodness of humanity. So it's not just a message for lions. It's a message for all of us Nigerians. Let us try to do the right thing by choice.
We have program for the blind, for sight, and our core project for this year is basically youth empowerment. We have youth awareness program that we are currently embarking on. Why? We've noticed, we've seen in our society, especially in this environment, that a lot of our youth are into drugs. So one of the things that we are doing is sensitization, giving a necessary awareness for the youth to abstain from drug and cancer. We are making provision for patients who cannot afford to pay their medical bills, to assist them in doing so. Thirdly, we are also looking at education. We've started some of the that are not well catered for. We are renovating, we are giving them facilities that are not provided.
Up next, welcome back. Huge crowds are expected to head to San Francisco to vent their anger over President Donald Trump's hardline policies. Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida, where he's spending the weekend. Organizers say they are expecting millions to attend. Those numbers would match the massive turnout at similar events on June 14, Trump's birthday, and the day of a giant military parade in the U.S. Capitol in outrage over the Trump administration's crackdown on undocumented migrants and its deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles. Trump, who returned to the White House in January, has ordered National Guard. Demonstrators are also up in arms over Trump's attacks on the media, prosecutions of his political opponents, and a host of other actions they see as authoritarian. A government shutdown is now in its third week, with Trump administration firing thousands of federal workers and lawmakers showing little sign they are ready to break the impasse. We'll take another break to bring you sports stories. Welcome back. Nottingham Forest have parted ways with manager Ange Postecoglou after a winless run of 8 matches in charge. The club revealed this in a short statement shared on X. And coach's time ended on Saturday afternoon after a 3-0 home defeat to Chelsea. Postecoglou's reign produced no victories, with 6 losses, including a dramatic Carabao Cup exit to Swansea City, where Forest squandered a 2-1 lead in stoppage time to lose 3-2. Their only reprieve came from hard-fought draws against Burnley in the Premier League and a Real Betis in the Europa League. 2 weeks ago,